ReeferMEDness, the podcast, would like to acknowledge that we produce our shows on Treaty 2 territory and homeland of the Métis. We pay our respects to the First Nations and Métis ancestors of this land, and we reaffirm our relationships.
It's ReeferMEDness, the podcast, with Trevor and Kirk.
Kirk, we're back.
Yeah, hey Trevor, how are you?
Good. So we're both in Dauphin right now, which honestly seems to be a while since we were both here at the same time. And that's because you were on the road and collected us some road stories.
Yes, and I guess this is like we're recording this in November. These road stories happened in September, and the Instagram account has pictures of them. But yeah, I basically have 4 stories that I have obtained by just walking into cannabis stores. One of the things I like to do is that when I am visiting cities, I like to search out cannabis stores and ask people questions. And I do that for all sorts of reasons. Obviously, one is I like to promote this podcast.
Of course.
ReeferMEDness, the podcast. And also, just as a nurse, I like to know what's happening in the industry in recreational cannabis. And sometimes I just sit around and listen to what the bud tenders are telling people. I just like to get a vibe for what's happening in the resale space. So the first story is from Edmonton on Jasper Avenue, Cabana. And we have a story from Kelsey there. She's one of the employees there. The second story comes from Lloydminster, and that's from Plant Life. The third story comes from Saskatoon, and this is quite funny because, in all due respect, in Saskatoon, I think you could throw a baseball in any street and find a cannabis store. There's so many cannabis stores in Saskatoon. Okay. But we stopped and visited the Joint, and got an interview from that fella there. And then I was at a mall at the I guess east side, and I noticed there was a Prairie Records store. I'm thinking, a record store? I haven't gone to a record store in a long time. Be damned if it's in a cannabis store.
Okay.
So yeah, so these are 4 stories I got by just being on the road. So I was thinking that maybe a good song for this might just be Alberta Bound. Alberta Bound. You know, because
everyone likes that one.
Yeah, but mind you, I'm actually driving away from Alberta during these road stories. But yeah, Trevor, they're just road stories.
But you were Alberta bound on the way there, so it's still fine.
That's true. So we'll just let these stories flow, and it's a short one for our listeners. ReeferMEDness, the podcast. I'm Kirk. I'm the nurse. Enjoy.
I'm Trevor Schufeld. I'm the pharmacist. Have a good time with this one. Everyone likes a road story.
My name is Kelsey, and the only story that really came to mind is me and my friend went out for a walk to obviously smoke a joint. We decided, let's get an anthill high. So we stole an ant from an anthill, and it was a queen ant. And I cupped it. We both blew smoke into our cupped hands where the ant was. And the ant started to spin around in my palm crazily, and the ant literally greened out. It turned lime green.
Really?
From a black ant,
and a queen ant.
It's a queen, black ant, yes, very huge, probably about a centimeter or something. Yeah. The caboose started to literally turn lime green, and the whole thing just faded into green. So we freaked out. I flicked it off, and it started flying, and it was literally just going up and down, up and down. We literally greened out an ant.
Great story.
My name is Rhonda Lance, and I'm the store manager of Plant Life Lloydminster, and I have been here since decriminalization or legalization, which would have been October of 2018. It's been quite an interesting experience right from the get-go. Even before the doors opened, I anticipated there was going to be a lot of younger people walking through the doors. And much to my surprise, it was all people around my age that were walking through the doors. And we do get a younger crowd as well, but definitely a lot I would say 30s to 50s and even beyond that. A lot of people will come in and they're asking specific for medical. They want to use the product for their medical issues, but because we can't speak to it, we have learned or been trained to ask questions in a certain way to get around that.
You could always direct them to the podcast.
I can always direct them to the podcast, absolutely, yeah.
So you, I've noticed that when I Googled Lloydminster cannabis shops, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7?
There's a lot.
All on this highway.
All on the highway,
And
yeah.
so you guys are a busy shop?
We are a busy shop, and being right on the west end, I think it's, prior to maybe even construction, although we're not really inhibited by it, but we do get a lot of out-of-towners. Yeah. Because there is a lot of outlying areas here as well, so.
Well, thank you. That's a great story.
Hi there, my name is Kirk Lawson. I work for a company called Prairie Records here in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. At current, we have 2 locations here in Saskatoon, one in Stonebridge, one in Broadway, and then we have one in Mormon as well. We also have 2 locations in Calgary, Alberta, and we're hoping to expand in the near future. The idea behind our store is that music and cannabis go hand in hand, and taking a step into one of our stores and really feeling the vibe and seeing our layout, people really get that. All the records that we have here in our store are actually going to be strains of cannabis that we carry within our shop. Each record has a strain name with where it is grown, the percentage is going to be, and a little bit more about its backstory and what people think about it. In the past, I know that they used to have a record that would tell you what the cannabis paired well with when it comes to the music. And yeah, it's just a super cool little company to work for. They're super great. It's a super cool vibe, and it's different in every one of our stores, and yeah, we're super proud of it.
Cool.
My name is Matthew Janak. I am 34 years old. I've been working in the legal cannabis business for roughly 3 months now, but I've been definitely killing it. And before the pandemic hit, I was involved in the liquor industry, and as a supervisor. Then I got laid off from that, so I was kind of like unemployed for a year. But I knew when I wanted to get back to the workforce, I wanted to do cannabis. That's the only places I applied, and I was dead set on getting it, into the cannabis industry. But a few months before I got this job here, I decided I wanted to grow my plants for the first time. So I ended up going to my buddy's place, had a bag of weed, I started grinding some stuff, and I'm like, there's some seeds in here. It's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm like, cool, I'll see what happens. And I planted them all, and basically 6 of the 7 seeds grew. I gave a couple to a friend, and I started growing 3 of them. And they're in the budding process right now, and I have 1 month left. Then I get some good hauls on these things. They're giant 4-foot things, and it's been quite the bucket list project for me, because it's something I've always wanted to do, and I never thought I could actually succeed at growing plants to the budding phase and have it look so beautiful. They're turning purple and a little yellow and red on the tips. It's turning quite gorgeous. And I just found some seeds, and they're all of them turned out to be female.
Oh, right.
So I don't know, my destiny was on my side, I guess.
Yeah.
In this, so now I'm en route to becoming an assistant manager for the joint. And I've only been here 3 months. So.
And the joint is a corporate store?
Corporate, sort of. It's the head office is in Winnipeg, so the only joint is in Saskatchewan and Manitoba. Okay. I think there's 12 stores in total or so between the 2 provinces, and I think there's 3 locations here in Saskatoon, 1 in Assiniboine and then 1 in Regina, and the rest of them are just in Manitoba. Right on. It's kind of a franchise, but not really. We are in constant contact with the owners and the actual head office people every day, constantly. There's WhatsApp groups for everything, and it's constant communication. It's awesome.
Wonderful. Thank you for the story. Okay.
Well, time to blow this joint. Like the show? Let us know. We're ReeferMEDness on Instagram and Facebook, at ReeferMEDness on Twitter.